All right, let's get right into it. Something huge is happening in the American workplace. I mean, we're talking about a change that could completely rewrite the relationship between you and your boss. And it all comes down to something called the non-compete clause.
So let me ask you a question, and be honest. Have you ever felt like your job was holding you hostage? You get a better offer, more money, a better title, but you can't take it because of some piece of paper you signed when you were hired?
Well, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. Not even close. We're talking about an estimated 30 million American workers. That's almost 1 out of every 5 of us in the workforce, all bound by these agreements. It's a massive number.
So this brings us to what some are calling the Great Unchaining. It sounds dramatic, I know, but it really is a major, major shift. Let's break down what's actually on the table here.
First off, what even is a non-compete clause? Well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a part of your employment contract that says, hey, if you leave this job, you can't go work for a competitor for a certain amount of time. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's years.
And here's the bombshell. The Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has proposed a brand new rule that would basically ban non-competes across the entire country. We're not talking state by state anymore. This would be one single rule for everyone, everywhere. Now, you can probably guess that this idea has stirred up a lot of debate. It really gets to the core of a huge question. What's fair and what's an unfair advantage in the world of business? And it really breaks down into two very different points of view. From the employer's side, they say, look, these are absolutely necessary. We pour money and time into training our people. We share our trade secrets, our client lists. We need to protect that investment. But the FTC sees it completely differently. They say non-competes are an unfair trick that holds workers down, keeps wages low, and stops people from moving up in their career. This quote from the head of the FTC, Lena Khan, really sums up their whole argument. For them, this isn't just about jobs, it's about economic liberty. The idea that a healthy, growing economy depends on people being free to take a new job. So the thinking goes like this. If you can't leave your job for a better offer down the street, why would your current company bother giving you a raise or improving your benefits? The FTC's argument is that non-competes basically trap workers, which takes away the pressure on companies to compete for talent. And this isn't just some abstract economic theory. The FTC put a real number on what this change could mean for people's wallets, and it is a big one. $300 billion. That's the FTC's estimate for how much more money could end up in workers' pockets every single year if non-competes were gone. It would be like giving the entire country a massive raise. And who are we talking about here? Well, just about everyone. The proposal is incredibly broad. It covers full-time employees, sure, but also interns, even unpaid ones, and independent contractors. Basically, if you work, this rule would likely apply to you. Okay, so if you're running a business right now, you might be starting to sweat a little. You're probably thinking, how in the world am I supposed to protect my company now? It's a totally valid concern, and it means businesses need a whole new playbook. Right, this is the million-dollar question for employers, isn't it? If your top engineer can just walk out the door and start working for your biggest rival tomorrow, how do you stop your company's secret sauce from walking out with them? Well, the truth is, there are other tools. They're just more specific. Businesses can still use things like NDAs or non-disclosure agreements to legally stop people from spilling confidential info. They can use non-solicitation agreements to prevent ex-employees from stealing clients or staff. And we already have powerful trade secret and patent laws. The big difference is the focus changes. It's not about stopping someone from working somewhere else. It's about stopping them from taking specific information with them. But honestly, the real change might have nothing to do with lawyers. Without non-competes, companies have to actually earn their employees' loyalty. They have to compete. That means offering real promotions, paying what people are worth, using things like stock options to give people a reason to stick around, and, maybe most importantly, building a place where people actually want to work. So what this all boils down to is a fundamental trade-off. It's this constant push and pull between a company's need to keep its people and the economy's need for new ideas and innovation. And, we don't have to just guess what would happen. We have a real-world experiment that's been running for decades. California. They banned non-competes a long time ago. And, well, you've heard of Silicon Valley, right? Proponents of the ban say that's proof that letting people and ideas move around freely actually fuels incredible success. And that leaves us with the one final massive question.
Is the FTC about to kickstart a huge wave of American innovation by letting talent finally move freely? Or is this all going to backfire and just create a chaotic revolving door of employees, making it impossible for businesses to ever invest in their people for the long term? The answer, whatever it is going to define the future of work for all of us.